Have you ever felt like something just doesn't feel right in your relationships? Maybe it's a subtle feeling, almost imperceptible. But deep down, you know that something is off. You feel it when you're with certain people, those you care about, those you trust. But the way they make you feel is not how love, respect, and care should feel. These are the hidden dangers, the behaviors that silently chip away at your sense of self, your peace, your truth. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how can you do that when there are forces around you that constantly tell you who you should be, how you should feel, and what you should accept? It's these toxic behaviors, often disguised as love, concern, or even humor, that threaten your mental and emotional well-being. And if you're not careful, they can slowly bury you beneath layers of self-doubt, shame, and confusion. In this video, we're going to explore 8 toxic behaviors that Carl Jung warned us about. Behaviors that, if left unchecked, can destroy your identity, erode your worth, and keep you trapped in a cycle of emotional manipulation. I want you to think for a moment. Are you tolerating any of these behaviors in your life right now? Maybe it's something you've been dismissing, thinking it's not a big deal, or maybe you've learned to live with it because it feels easier than confronting the discomfort. But here's the truth. You deserve more. You deserve relationships that lift you up, not tear you down. You deserve the freedom to be fully yourself without fear of manipulation or betrayal. So let's take a deep breath together and step into this conversation. Because what we're about to uncover will help you reclaim your life, your peace, and your sense of self. This isn't just about recognizing toxic behaviors in others. It's about recognizing your own power to set boundaries and choose who and what you allow into your life. Stay with me. Let's start this journey of awakening. Part 1. The Silent Saboteur. Covert Emotional Manipulation. Imagine for a moment, you're in a conversation with someone close to you. They say something like, "I'm just looking out for you, you know." But somehow, that statement doesn't feel right. It's wrapped in concern, but the message is laced with doubt, control, and subtle guilt. You start to second-guess yourself. You wonder if they might be right. Was that really the best choice? Did I mess up? But here's the thing, you're not wrong. You're just being manipulated. And that manipulation, though silent, is one of the most dangerous forces that can undermine your confidence and peace. Covert emotional manipulation doesn't shout or demand your attention. It's sneaky. It's the quiet whispers that plant seeds of doubt in your mind, disguised as care or concern. It's that one-off comment that makes you feel guilty for something that wasn't even your fault. It's the friend, partner, or family member who acts as though they know what's best for you, always positioning themselves as the authority on your decisions, your actions, and your thoughts. It can start small. Maybe they say something like, "You're so sensitive. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but maybe you should lighten up." Or, "You're overthinking this. I'm only telling you this because I care." These comments don't seem harmful at first, but over time, they chip away at your self-esteem. They plant seeds of doubt that make you question your reality, your emotions, and your decisions. You may begin to question your own perception. You start wondering if you're just being too sensitive, too emotional, or maybe even too selfish. The more this happens, the more you begin to shrink, to second-guess yourself. And the more you second-guess yourself, the more power the manipulator gains over you. They control the narrative. They control how you feel about yourself. And slowly, you begin to lose yourself in the process. Jung's wisdom is clear. This is not love. This is a distortion of love, a manipulation that disguises itself as care. And you, my friend, are not obligated to tolerate it. You are worthy of trust. Trust in your instincts, trust in your decisions, and trust in your emotions. You do not need anyone to dictate how you should feel or what you should believe. The silent saboteur thrives on your silence. It depends on your fear of conflict, your desire to keep the peace, and your hesitation to speak up. But here's the truth. Every time you ignore your own voice, every time you let someone manipulate your emotions without confrontation, you lose a little piece of yourself. You allow the manipulator to rewrite your story, one quiet word at a time, but you can stop this. You can reclaim your power. It's time to set boundaries. It's time to honor your feelings and stand firm in your truth. Yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, it might create tension. But your peace of mind, your self-respect, and your identity are worth the discomfort. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone who tries to make you feel less than what you are. So, take a deep breath and recognize the covert manipulation for what it is. It's not love. It's not concern. It's control, masked as affection, and you don't need to tolerate it. Reclaim your power. Reclaim your voice. You are worthy of respect and your feelings are valid. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Remember, the first step to breaking free from this silent saboteur is awareness. Now that you're aware, don't be afraid to speak up. You deserve relationships that respect you, not manipulate you. Part 2. The joke that's not funny. Humiliation disguised as humor. Have you ever been in a situation where someone cracks a joke at your expense and at first you laugh along with them? It feels like just another harmless laugh, right? But deep down, something doesn't sit well. You start to wonder if it really was just a joke. Was it meant to be funny, or was there something more to it? That uneasy feeling that lingers long after the laughter dies down. That's the warning sign. Humiliation disguised as humor is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation, and it can slowly wear away at your sense of self-worth. It's not the outright cruelty that cuts deep, but the subtlety of it. It's the snide remark wrapped in a smile, the funny jab that feels like it's a little too personal, too close to the truth. It's when someone says, "Oh, I'm just kidding," after making a comment that makes you feel small. But here's the thing. It's not a joke if it hurts you. And it's not okay to brush off your feelings just because someone else is laughing. You don't need to pretend it doesn't matter. The impact it has on you is real, even if it's hidden behind laughter. When someone humiliates you in front of others, they might call it just a joke. But what they're really doing is undermining your confidence and diminishing your value. Over time, these remarks accumulate. Each one is a small cut to your spirit, each one telling you that you're not good enough, not worthy enough. Why does it hurt so much? Because humor is supposed to be a shared experience, a moment of connection. But when someone uses humor to degrade you, it's a violation of that connection. They turn your vulnerability into a punchline, and instead of feeling accepted, you feel exposed. Instead of feeling empowered, you feel small. You might even start to laugh along, masking the hurt because you don't want to cause tension, or you don't want to seem too sensitive. But the truth is, it's not about being sensitive. It's about being human. And as human beings, we all deserve respect. This is where the power of self-awareness comes in. The next time someone makes a joke at your expense, take a moment. Pause. Check in with how you're feeling. Is it really a joke, or is it something else? You don't need to laugh if it doesn't feel right. You don't need to let that remark slide just because the other person is laughing. Your feelings matter. Your sense of self-worth is too important to sacrifice for the sake of avoiding discomfort. You don't have to tolerate humiliation disguised as humor. You have every right to set boundaries and to stand up for yourself. That means calling out the joke, or even just walking away from the situation if it's too hurtful. It doesn't have to be a confrontation. It's about finding the courage to say, "That joke isn't funny to me." It's about protecting your peace and asserting your boundaries. You see, true humor uplifts. It brings people together. It makes you feel good about yourself and the world around you. But when humor is used to tear you down, it's not just a joke. It's a reflection of someone else's insecurity and need for control. You don't need to internalize that. So, the next time someone cracks a funny joke at your expense, trust yourself. Trust your emotions. You don't need to laugh it off. You don't need to excuse it. You deserve more than that. You deserve respect. You deserve to feel valued, not belittled. Humiliation disguised as humor doesn't have to rule your life. You have the power to recognize it, confront it, and protect your sense of self. You can choose to rise above it. You can choose to demand the respect you deserve. You are worthy of laughter that lifts you up, not laughter that brings you down. And you can start right now by setting boundaries that honor your worth. Remember, your voice matters. Your feelings matter. And you are enough, just as you are. Part 3. The Mind Games. Gaslighting. Have you ever felt like you're questioning your own reality? Like things that you clearly remember happening are suddenly being twisted, turned, and made to feel like they never happened at all? It's not just a bad memory or a simple misunderstanding. It's something deeper, something darker. It's gaslighting. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of it, you know how it can slowly erode your confidence, your sense of self, and your ability to trust your own thoughts. Gaslighting is a manipulation tactic where someone tries to make you doubt your perception of reality. They twist facts, deny events, and make you feel like you're losing your grip on the truth. Over time, it can make you question everything about yourself, your memories, and your decisions. It's like being in a constant state of uncertainty, not knowing what's real and what's not. It's disorienting, and it can leave you feeling isolated, confused, and even powerless. But here's the thing. You don't have to live in that confusion. You don't have to let someone else's distorted reality define yours. The moment you recognize what's happening, you begin to reclaim your power. You have the ability to trust yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your instincts. You don't need anyone else's approval to validate your reality. And the more you stand firm in that truth, the harder it becomes for anyone to distort it. How does gaslighting happen? It often starts with small, seemingly insignificant comments. "You're overreacting. That never happened. You're just being too sensitive." At first, you might dismiss these remarks, but over time, they start to chip away at your self-esteem. You begin to second-guess yourself. Was it really your fault? Were you being too emotional? Are you imagining things? This self-doubt is exactly what the gaslighter wants. They want you to question yourself so much that you lose confidence in your own perceptions and decisions. But here's the truth. Your feelings are valid. Your thoughts are real. The moments when you feel like something isn't right, when your instincts tell you something's off, Those feelings are worth listening to. Don't dismiss them. In fact, start honoring them. Trust that little voice inside of you, the one that tells you the truth, even when others are trying to twist it. That inner voice is your most powerful tool. It knows the truth. It knows when you're being manipulated, even if the other person is trying to convince you otherwise. In these situations, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to please the other person, wanting to make them see things your way. But here's the key. You don't need anyone's validation to know what's true. Your reality is not dependent on someone else's approval. Your peace of mind is yours to protect, and once you understand that, the grip of gaslighting weakens. The next step is simple, but it takes courage. You need to reclaim your power by trusting yourself. The next time someone tries to gaslight you, take a moment to pause. Reflect on what you know to be true. If you remember a situation a certain way, don't let anyone tell you that it didn't happen like that. Your memory is valid. Your feelings are valid. You have every right to stand firm in your truth. Start setting boundaries. If someone repeatedly tries to manipulate you, gently but firmly let them know that you won't allow your reality to be questioned. You don't have to engage in long debates or try to convince them of your truth. Simply saying, "I know what I experienced and that's enough for me," is powerful. You don't need to explain yourself. And above all, don't blame yourself. Gaslighting thrives on making you feel like you're the problem. But the truth is, you are not the one who is broken. The person who manipulates and twists reality is the one who is trying to control you. You are whole. You are strong. You are worthy of respect and honesty. Trust your instincts. Stand in your truth. Gaslighting can only have power over you if you let it. Once you recognize what's happening, and once you start trusting yourself again, you'll find that your inner strength becomes your shield. You don't need anyone else's approval to know your worth. Your reality is yours to create, and you have the power to protect it. Part 4. The Silent Killer. Emotional invalidation. Have you ever shared something deeply personal with someone, only to have them brush it off, dismiss it, or tell you that your feelings aren't valid? Maybe you've poured your heart out, seeking understanding, and instead you've been met with words like, "You're overreacting," or "It's not that big of a deal." In that moment, it's as if your feelings, your very essence, are being erased. That is emotional invalidation, and it can be one of the most damaging forms of manipulation. Emotional invalidation is a quiet killer. It doesn't scream or shout. It doesn't come with flashy arguments or loud confrontations. Instead, it quietly chips away at your self-worth and emotional resilience, making you question whether your feelings are truly important. Over time, it can leave you feeling small, insignificant, and even invisible. But here's the truth. Your feelings are always valid. Every emotion you experience has a purpose. Whether it's joy, sadness, anger, or fear, your feelings are real, and they matter. They are a reflection of who you are, what you value, and how you experience the world. Don't let anyone tell you that your emotions don't count. They do, and they deserve to be acknowledged and respected. When someone invalidates your emotions, it's not just about them rejecting what you're saying. It's about them rejecting you. It's about making you feel that your emotional reality doesn't matter, that your perspective is somehow flawed, or that your needs are unimportant. And that can hurt deeply. It can make you second-guess yourself, wonder if you're really overreacting, or if you're simply being too emotional. But this is where your power lies. You get to decide what is valid for you. It's easy to let someone else's dismissiveness make you question yourself. But that's not the path to peace. When someone invalidates your emotions, remember, it's about them, not you. It's about their inability to understand or connect, not your inability to feel. Emotional invalidation thrives on your silence. The more you allow someone to dismiss your feelings without standing up for yourself, the more they will try to convince you that your emotions don't matter. But your voice is powerful. The moment you start honoring your feelings, even when others don't, you begin to reclaim control over your emotional life. You begin to protect your peace. The first step in reclaiming your emotional power is recognizing when emotional invalidation is happening. Pay attention to how you feel when someone dismisses your feelings. Do you feel smaller? Do you feel like you're not worthy of respect? Those feelings are your internal compass guiding you toward what's true. You are worthy of having your emotions validated. The second step is setting clear boundaries. When someone invalidates your emotions, calmly but firmly stand your ground. Let them know that your feelings are not up for debate. You don't need to justify your emotions, nor do you need to apologize for having them. Simply say, I understand that you may not agree, but my feelings are valid, and I need them to be respected. You don't have to argue, you just have to stand firm in your truth. The third step is to practice self-compassion. When others invalidate your emotions, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-doubt, wondering if you're too sensitive or too dramatic. But that's not the truth. Your feelings are valid, and you deserve to be treated with respect. Don't let anyone else's inability to understand or empathize with you make you question your own worth. You are enough, just as you are. You have the right to feel what you feel, and you have the right to be heard. When someone dismisses your emotions, it's a reflection of their limitations, not yours. Their inability to validate your feelings says more about them than it does about you. You're not the problem. So, what can you do? Keep honoring your emotions, even when others don't. Speak your truth, stand firm in your boundaries, and practice self-compassion. Don't let anyone silence your feelings. Your emotions are a vital part of who you are, and they deserve to be heard. You have the power to validate yourself, to recognize your worth, and to protect your emotional peace. The moment you stop seeking validation from others and start giving it to yourself, you will find that the silence of emotional invalidation no longer has power over you. You are worthy of being seen, heard, and respected. So the next time someone dismisses your emotions, remember, your feelings are valid. You are enough. Stand firm and know that your emotional truth is your greatest strength. Protect it. Honor it. Own it. Part 5. The cold burn. Silent contempt. Have you ever walked into a room or spoken up in a conversation only to feel a coldness directed at you? Maybe it was a glance, a subtle sigh, or a dismissive shrug. It wasn't loud, it wasn't an overt insult or attack, but it stung. You felt it, even if no one else seemed to notice. That is the power of silent contempt. The kind of disdain that doesn't need words to hurt. It cuts deep, often more than outright anger. Silent contempt is a quiet poison. Unlike overt hostility, it's cloaked in subtlety. It's in the body language. The raised eyebrows, the unspoken judgments. It makes you feel small, unimportant, and worthless without anyone ever saying a word. the worst part? It often goes unnoticed by others. So if you're the one on the receiving end, you might feel like no one sees your pain. No one acknowledges the weight of what you're carrying. But here's the thing. You deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve to be seen, heard, and valued. Silent contempt might try to diminish your worth, but it cannot erase it. It might try to plant seeds of self-doubt in your heart, but it cannot define your value. Only you can do that. Let's talk about what silent contempt really is. It's a behavior that shows a deep-seated disregard for your existence. It's not just about someone disagreeing with you or not liking what you said. It's about them thinking that you don't matter. And when someone treats you this way, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their inability to show respect or compassion. It can be hard to deal with. It's easy to feel like you're overreacting. You might convince yourself that you're imagining it, or that you should just let it go. But that cold burn is real. And if you keep ignoring it, it only continues to eat away at your sense of self-worth. So what can you do when you face silent contempt? First, recognize that it's happening. Pay attention to how it makes you feel. Do you feel unseen? Like you don't matter? That's the moment you need to remind yourself, you matter. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. You are not small. The second step is to confront the contempt, but not in anger. You don't need to respond to silent contempt with hostility. That only fuels the cycle. Instead, take a step back, center yourself, and calmly address it. You might say something like, "I feel dismissed when you act like that. I would appreciate it if we could have a conversation with more respect." This is your boundary, and it's a powerful one. It says, "I will not tolerate being treated this way." Remember, the key is to stand firm in your self-respect. You don't need the approval of others to know your worth. Silent contempt is often a reflection of someone else's insecurity, not your inadequacy. When someone looks at you with disdain, it's because they are struggling with something inside of them, not because you've done anything wrong. The third step is to let go of the need for validation from those who treat you with contempt. It can be hard, especially if this person is someone you care about. But remember this, you don't need anyone else's validation to feel good about yourself. You are enough just as you are. You do not need anyone's approval to be worthy. When you stop seeking validation from those who hold silent contempt for you, you free yourself from their grip. And here's where your true power lies. You are not defined by how others treat you. No matter how cold or dismissive they may be, you have the power to define yourself. You have the ability to stand tall, even when faced with silent disdain. Your worth is not in their hands. It's in yours. So the next time you feel that cold burn, when you feel the weight of someone's contempt pressing down on you, remember, you are worthy of respect. You are worthy of kindness. You are worthy of love. Stand firm in your self-respect and don't let anyone diminish your worth with their silent judgments. You have the power to rise above it. You are not small. You are worthy of being seen, respected, and celebrated. Silent contempt can burn, but you don't have to carry its weight. You are stronger than their disdain. Part 6. The price of sacrifice. Normalization of self-sacrifice as love. Have you ever found yourself giving up your own needs, your own peace, just to make someone else happy? Maybe you've told yourself it's just part of loving them. But what if love doesn't have to come at the cost of losing yourself? There's a powerful idea that many of us have grown up with, the idea that love is about sacrifice. The more you give up, the more you love. But in reality, what are you giving away when you constantly put your needs on the back burner? When you normalize self-sacrifice as love, you might be giving up pieces of your soul, and in the process, you lose sight of who you are. Sacrifice in love is something we've been taught to glorify. The idea that true love is about putting others first, every time, no matter the cost. We see it in stories, in movies, and sometimes we even hear it in the words of people we care about. If you really loved me, you would sacrifice your happiness for mine. It's easy to believe this, especially when the world around you reinforces it. But here's the truth. True love does not require you to lose yourself. It does not demand that you erase your own desires, dreams, or well-being in the name of caring for someone else. Love is not meant to diminish you. True love should lift you up, not wear you down. And if you've been told that sacrificing yourself is what love looks like, it's time to reconsider. When you continuously give up your own needs for others, you might start to feel like you're walking through life as a shadow of who you truly are. It's easy to lose yourself when all you focus on is meeting the needs of others. You might even start to feel guilty for taking time for yourself or for needing space. But let me tell you something important. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you truly asked for what you needed without feeling guilty? When was the last time you said no to something that wasn't right for you without worrying about disappointing someone else? These simple acts of self-respect might feel uncomfortable at first, but they are the building blocks of a healthier, more balanced life. Now think about your own worth. You deserve love that respects your individuality, your dreams, and your boundaries. Sacrifice in love should be about mutual respect and understanding, not about losing pieces of yourself. When you normalize self-sacrifice as the standard of love, you risk falling into a cycle where your own needs are continually overlooked. This pattern can lead to burnout, resentment, and deep feelings of being unseen and unheard. Love should make you feel whole, not empty. It should encourage you to be the best version of yourself, not a diminished version of who you are. When you make your needs and boundaries a priority, you show others that your well-being matters. And in turn, you show them how to love you in the way you truly deserve. But here's the challenge. You have to start with yourself. You have to give yourself permission to prioritize your own happiness, your own peace, and your own sense of fulfillment. This doesn't mean you stop caring for others. It means you stop neglecting yourself in the name of love. When you learn to love yourself first, you create space for others to love you more authentically. You show them that love isn't about self-sacrifice. It's about support, respect, and understanding. It's about two people walking alongside each other, both growing, both thriving, both giving and receiving. The price of sacrifice is too high if it costs you your peace, your identity, and your happiness. And the love that is built on sacrifice alone is often fragile and unsustainable. But when love is rooted in mutual respect, in giving from a place of abundance rather than depletion, it becomes something real and lasting. So, take a moment to reflect. Are you sacrificing your happiness in the name of love? If so, it's time to reframe your understanding of what love truly means. You are deserving of a love that honors you as you are, that sees you as enough without needing to lose yourself. When you stop normalizing self-sacrifice, you begin to honor the most important person in your life, you. And from there, the love you give and receive can become something even more powerful. You are worthy of love that nurtures you, not drains you. And when you learn this truth, you open the door to a deeper, more fulfilling kind of love. One that honors both your individuality and the bond you share with others. Part 7. The false price of belonging, accepting contempt. Have you ever felt like you had to change who you are just to fit in? Like you had to lower your standards or accept behavior from others that deep down you knew wasn't right for you? It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that belonging is worth the cost of your dignity. But in reality, the true cost of belonging is not what you think it is. When you seek acceptance at any price, when you mold yourself into someone you're not to fit into a group, you're giving up pieces of your own self-worth. Belonging should never come at the cost of losing your respect for yourself. And yet, so many of us have been taught that fitting in means tolerating disrespect, enduring contempt, or accepting treatment that undermines who we are. We are told that love, friendship, and connection come with sacrifice, but not the kind that uplifts us, the kind that makes us smaller, weaker. But here's the thing. True belonging doesn't require you to diminish yourself. The moment you accept contempt, you lose more than just your dignity. You lose your essence. When someone treats you with disdain, yet you continue to stay, thinking that this is the price of belonging, you're only teaching them that your worth is disposable. You are worthy of love and respect simply for who you are, not for how well you conform to someone else's expectations. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you were in a situation where you accepted less than what you deserve just to belong? Maybe it was in a group of friends who made you feel small, or in a relationship where your feelings were dismissed. In those moments, did you feel empowered? Or did you feel drained, hurt, and less than yourself? The truth is, when you accept contempt as part of the cost of belonging, you betray the very person you are meant to protect, yourself. You deserve to belong where you are valued, respected, and cherished. Anything less than that is not worth your energy, your time, or your spirit. Let me ask you this. What if the price of belonging is not what you've been told? What if true belonging comes when you stop tolerating mistreatment, when you start standing up for your own worth, and when you walk away from situations that compromise your integrity? What if the real cost of belonging is staying true to yourself, no matter how hard it seems in the moment? Accepting contempt as part of the deal is a dangerous path. It wears down your sense of self and leaves you feeling unfulfilled, disconnected, and empty. But real belonging, the kind that truly nourishes your soul, is when you are able to be yourself, unapologetically, and still find people who appreciate you for that. The most powerful act of belonging is the one where you embrace your true self, the one where you say, I am worthy of respect, I am worthy of love, and I will not allow anyone to treat me otherwise. It's in these moments that you will start attracting the kind of relationships and communities that build you up rather than tear you down. When you accept nothing less than respect, you open the door to a deeper, more meaningful connection with those who truly value you. Now I know it's not easy. Letting go of the need to belong to something or someone who doesn't see your worth can be incredibly painful. But trust me when I say, it's not the rejection you should fear. It's the acceptance of disrespect that you need to walk away from. Because once you stand firm in your own worth, you start to attract the people opportunities, and situations that truly align with your essence. You don't need to sacrifice your self-respect for acceptance. When you choose to belong to those who value you for who you are, you find a connection that is real, lasting, and fulfilling. And when you no longer accept contempt, you create space for true, unconditional belonging to emerge. One where you stand strong, knowing that you are enough just as you are. So, take a step back and reflect. Are you sacrificing your dignity for the sake of belonging? Are you accepting less than you deserve in the name of fitting in? If so, it's time to reconsider what belonging truly means for you. You deserve so much more than contempt. You deserve a place where your worth is honored, and where you never have to shrink yourself to feel like you belong. Part 8. The betrayal of self, ignoring your own needs and desires. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you put everyone else's needs before your own, only to feel empty and drained afterward? You give, and you give some more, but in the process, you lose touch with your own heart, your own desires, and your own well-being. And somehow, you've been convinced that this is just how life is supposed to be. Ignoring your own needs is a betrayal to yourself, a quiet act of self-neglect. It might not seem that way at first. In fact, it may feel noble or even virtuous to always prioritize others. But deep down, you begin to notice that your energy is fading, your spirit is exhausted, and your sense of self starts to erode. When you disregard your own needs, you're telling yourself that you don't matter, that your happiness is secondary, that your worth is determined by what you do for others, not who you are. But here's the truth you might have forgotten. Your needs matter. You are worthy of care, attention, and love, not only from others but from yourself. You are allowed to take up space in your own life. You are allowed to prioritize your own desires, your own peace, and your own growth without feeling guilty. When was the last time you took a moment to ask yourself, what do I need right now? Not what your partner needs, not what your friends or colleagues need. What do you need? The answer is probably one you've been too afraid to admit. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's a moment to just be with yourself, without the weight of everyone else's expectations. For too long, you've put your own needs on the back burner, convincing yourself that you don't deserve that kind of attention. But the truth is, when you neglect your own needs, you're neglecting the very core of who you are. You cannot give to others from an empty cup. You cannot pour love, care, or energy into the world when you haven't first nurtured yourself. Think for a moment about the toll this takes. How many times have you agreed to something simply because you didn't want to disappoint someone? How often have you pushed your own dreams and desires aside for fear of being judged or misunderstood? In those moments, did you feel fulfilled? Or did you feel more like a shadow of yourself, exhausted, drained, and disconnected from your own truth? The sad reality is, by ignoring your own needs, you are betraying the most important person in your life. You. You are telling yourself that you don't deserve to be happy, to be whole, to be seen for who you truly are. But this is where you get to change the narrative. You can choose to stop betraying yourself. You can choose to honor your own needs, to give yourself permission to be imperfect, to say no when you need to, and to ask for help when it's necessary. You are not weak for caring for yourself. You are not selfish for wanting to honor your desires. In fact, the more you care for yourself, the more you can show up for others in a way that is authentic and grounded. When you fill yourself up with love, peace, and joy, you naturally overflow that energy into the lives of those around you. But it all begins with you. It begins with allowing yourself to matter. So ask yourself now, what is it that you've been ignoring? What have you been pushing down or neglecting in the name of other people's happiness or approval? What is your heart longing for? And perhaps most importantly, how can you begin to give yourself permission to meet those needs? Remember, you are allowed to be the priority in your own life. By acknowledging your own needs and desires, you give yourself the gift of true self-love. And in doing so, you create a stronger, more fulfilled version of yourself, one that can live more fully, more authentically, and with a deeper sense of peace. This is your life, your journey. You don't need to sacrifice yourself to be loved or accepted. You are worthy of love simply because you are you. And by learning to honor your own needs, you begin to rebuild the connection to the person you are meant to be. It's time to stop betraying yourself. It's time to reclaim your worth. Conclusion. As you come to the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored together. You've walked through the patterns of manipulation, the silent betrayals, and the quiet moments when you've put others first, neglecting yourself in the process. But here's the powerful truth I want you to leave with. You don't have to keep sacrificing your peace, your needs, your desires. You have the strength within you to step out of these patterns, to break free from the cycle of ignoring your own needs, of putting yourself last. You are worthy of showing up for yourself, of putting your happiness, your well-being, and your truth at the center of your life. The change starts with you. No one else can walk this path for you. No one else can rewrite your story. You are the author of your own life, and you have the power to choose who you become. It's time to trust yourself. It's time to honor your own voice, your own heart, and your own dreams. So now I ask you, what's the first step you're going to take to honor yourself? What action can you take today to break the cycle and begin putting yourself first? Whether it's setting a boundary, saying no without guilt, or simply taking time to listen to your own needs, start small. Every step matters. If this message resonated with you, I want you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment below, telling me how you plan to put yourself first starting today. Let's keep this conversation going and remind each other that we are worthy of love, peace, and respect. You have the power to change your life, and today you've taken a huge step toward that. Keep moving forward. Keep honoring yourself. You are enough. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.